We're doing it again.
Welcome to Chatter Machine. I'm Kat.
And I'm Adam.
And we'll be talking about AEW, Ring of Honor, and whatever's exciting us this week in the world of pro wrestling. If you're tuning in for the first time, just know that we've been watching wrestling for about 6 months, and as new fans, our discussions may be missing some context.
Which may have some benefits or drawbacks for you, the listener. So let's get started with what happened in AEW this past week.
Well, let's jump right into blood and guts.
Ew.
Yeah, when I put it that way, it doesn't sound so lovely. I had a couple thoughts before the show, particularly about the women's blood and guts, because this is the first time we're ever doing it. First of all, is it even possible to live up to the hype that has been generated over the past couple months? And then secondly, the question of being the main event. I felt the whole time leading up to this that, the women have to main event. And then like the day or two before the actual event, I started thinking to myself, well, when you have two matches with the same format that could each go up to be about an hour long, what does it mean to be the main event? And do I want the women to go last? Maybe it's better to go first. Like, by the time the second one of those matches is going, I'm going to be tired. The audience is going to be tired. Is it going to be hard to keep it fresh, right? So by the time we made it to the day, I had kind of been rethinking some of my thoughts, and then it turns out, the women do go first.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic when you have these sort of specialty events where you're talking about something as a match that's 10, 12 different people and it's going to last like an hour versus main event, meaning an actual singles match that's going to be 20 minutes at the like top of a show or like what people are waiting for. And I feel like going into this, I also had that feeling in the last day or so before, also because of the way some people were talking about it online, that like, this is going to be exciting no matter what. And the women going first is also like, well, people are going to be tuning into Blood and Guts and they're going to be seeing women wrestling right off the bat. And that's awesome.
Yeah, and then when it turned out that the women were going first, I appreciated people who know a lot more about television production than I do, saying it's actually really important and really unusual for women's matches to go first, because that ratings spot at the beginning of Dynamite, it's like that's how you capture your audience.
Right.
So it was actually a really big deal and good for the women to go first. And I think it also reflects the different potential of the two matches. Like, the men have had all this story build up, but a lot of it leans on kind of psychological horror elements. And we're waiting for like the shoe to drop in the Death Riders saga.
Right.
Whereas the women have been built up as being really eager for violence.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't had a ton of storyline drama build up, but what we do know is these women want to fucking throw down.
Yeah. And not to jump ahead to the actual event, but I did make special note as we were watching it that just to me as a viewer, it was very exciting just hearing Justin Roberts be like the first ever women's blood, like feels like you're a part of something just watching it. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Whereas on the other side, the men had kind of built up this vibe that like they know the horrors of war and they're having second thoughts and they're kind of reluctant to do a blood and guts match.
Right.
So I think this was actually the right call and I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah. Plus, when you have these two matches and they're basically, aside from the middle, the little intermission match in the middle, basically the only thing that's happening, it's like, well, you either go first or you go last. There's
exactly. All right, so why don't we get into it? So we started out, our first pair for the women's match was Sky Blue, naturally. Carrying a kendo stick wrapped in barbed wire, and Willow Nightingale, who came out with a trash can lid, and she came out with her hair flying and her hoops on.
Yeah.
And at first I panicked a little bit. I was like, oh no, she can't have her hoops in. Yeah. And then I should have known. She's a good Long Island girl. She took a theatrical moment to put her earrings away. Yeah. Which that's the way to signal you're ready to fight where I come from.
She's ready to get down and dirty, ready to throw hands. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Excalibur had some dumb line at this moment that we had a brief discussion on Blue Sky about like whether it was a double entendre sexually. He said something like, we're married men, so we know that when women put their hair up, it's time for business.
Yeah.
And a couple a couple of our friends on Blue Sky pointed this out. I had missed it the first time around because I was just so enthralled, like looking at the women. I think my take on this is that it actually was not intended to be a blowjob joke, and it was just really clumsy. And at least Brian Danielson, to his great credit, if it was a double entendre, he didn't catch it at all.
He was as oblivious as I was.
Yeah, and but that's the thing, guys. Please don't talk about women like they're an alien species, and you only get to know them if you marry them. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like if you've observed any woman doing any hard work, or any person with long hair doing any hard work, you very well might have observed someone put up their hair because they're getting down to business. And like the fact that you're married to a woman is not the reason you know that.
Right. Like, anyway, we're spending too much time on this, but just a little bop on the nose with the newspaper for you, Excalibur. Do better. But yeah, so in the first 5 minutes, Willow, this makes sense. They kind of gave Willow the advantage, beaten on Sky. Sky got the opportunity to get the first little blade, and she went full Crimson Mask really fast.
Yeah. I mean, she got thrown against the cage and like slid down it, which I remember just as a new to wrestling but seen enough, I did have the thought in the moment of, oh, she's gonna go off and blade now. but that she sure as hell did.
So far.
Yeah,
we've come so far.
But she sure as hell did, and she looked fantastic when she emerged.
Absolute deathmatch princess, amazing. And so after that first 5 minutes, then we have Julia Hart running in with some killer war paint. And like, I really like that she kind of coordinated her gear to be more like Sky's than her normal gear. It really looked like very cohesive. And so, of course, when Julia came in, the two of them could kind of team up and beat the hell out of Willow for a while until Harley Cameron rushes in. My notes said that I thought she looked like Lara Croft went to the Leather Club, but I guess she was dressed as a character from Final Fantasy, which I would not know.
I wouldn't know either, which is kind of bizarre because I used to play computer games a lot, but just never that one, never even saw the movie, know nothing about it. But I did think to myself, that's a little weird. That's a little unusual for her normal. It's still Harley Cameron like style of dress, but but the white top also just great for showing blood. So excellent choice.
I appreciate everybody's commitment to showing off as much blood as possible. And then we had Tekla running in looking like a tiny, furious Lady Gaga about to paint a house.
Yeah. She had a strut going in that was just like, I'm not wasting any time. I'm getting in.
Absolutely not. Nobody thought that Tekla was messing around. She immediately gets in there and whips out a belt from around her boot. And then Harley is conveniently there in a little like, oh no, don't smack me with that.
Don't whip me with the belt.
Yeah. And then Jamie Hayter rushes in with a sack of tacks. Unfortunately, she then like used the sack of tacks to smack, I think it was Sky, and then the bottom busted open. So most of the tacks flew outside the cage onto the floor and hopefully not into the audience.
And I totally missed that in the moment. I was like, oh, there's tacks on the floor. And
yeah, they went everywhere. And it reinforced my feeling that if I'm ever ringside at a hardcore event, I'm going to bring safety glasses.
That's a good choice.
Because PPE is cool, you guys. And then we had Megan Bayne run in and like pretty much immediately suplexing Willow and Harley like an absolute badass.
And Penelope was with her, which I was not surprised about, but happy to see.
Definitely. And they get their moment a little later, Penelope and Aminata as the injured members of the squad.
I thought that was great, partly because at that point I'd forgotten that Penelope was there, and then just seeing Aminata's face and having wondered what was up with her, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, just a few moments before they showed Aminata, I was saying to you, like, oh, I'm so sad that Queen Aminata is not here. Like, I hope she is able to show up, and then she was there. So yeah, hopefully she'll be cleared soon, but I was very happy to see them get to kind of like fight each other as injured people.
Yeah, that they got to participate and be a part of the event in a way was great, and I hope that they're able to do more in the future.
Yes, and so then we have the big ladies coming in. So Chris Statlander comes in. Oh my god, what a woman. And pretty much immediately tosses Megan Bayne, and then has this will they won't they moment with Willow that lasts a little too long, but they're trying to tell a story here. Yeah, are we going to reconcile? And yeah, this is when we had Aminata and Penelope kind of battling a little bit on the sidelines, which I loved. And what I missed originally and saw the second time around is that when Chris and Megan were brawling, the audience was doing meat, meat, meat.
which is lovely. We want more of that, I suppose.
I don't know if I really want more meat chants, but it was really funny that they were. I don't think I've ever heard them do it for women.
At least in what we've seen, I haven't heard it done for women.
If you're gonna do it equally. I approve.
Yeah.
And then our fifth heel in was Mercedes Moné, who is the only one to stroll out casually, doing like basically the closest thing to her normal entrance compared to the others.
Taking her time a little.
Taking her time, doing her little dance. She's wearing a fully unhinged outfit, and she's got like blood tears, rhinestones attached to her face, and she's got her table all decked out with her belts, and she takes a little sip of champagne.
She's got some handsome belt boys there just on display.
Naturally, she's got boys on display, which we love. Thank you. I didn't expect her to very quickly decide that the best thing she could do is pass out her belts among her teammates for use as weapons.
That was fun. Yeah.
Let it never be said that Mercedes Moné is not a team player. And at this point, Megan has had the chance to like secret herself away in a quiet corner and blade herself, and they're all getting decked with championship belts. And Mercedes gets a little blood on her fingers, and she clearly finds it disgusting. She's so funny. Then we have Mina Shirakawa, who does take a moment to do a little dance, but mostly just runs in with her barbed wire bat, quickly taking Mercedes down. And then my favorite moment probably of the whole night was Mina doing her signature like titty shimmy, and then Chris Statlander is laying exhausted on the bottom rope, and just it does a little echo of a
that was great. That was so
shimmy. Fun. The funniest shit. That's
very
women,
relatable.
That's women supporting women. That's what we want to see. And then our final heel of the night is Marina Shafir getting a whole Death Rider entrance, which I love.
With her own theme.
Yes, which is that theme goes really hard.
It does,
I love it. And she is once again wearing boots, which we talked about last week in relation to her Ring of Honor match.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe this is a thing that she's been doing, but in my mind, she just set the precedent last week.
Yeah. Maybe she does it in indie promotion sometimes. I don't know, but we haven't seen it on AEW.
Yeah, so she comes out in her boots, and then she has hidden the bed of nails, the signature Death Rider Dojo bed of nails. She has cleverly hidden it near the announcer desk, and then she gets Stat on there before taking her boots off and throwing her dirty socks in the direction of Stat's face.
Yeah.
Foul.
Which, given the Ring of Honor one, is the second time we've seen her do that, and both times the socks do not hit, which I'm thinking maybe this needs a little work, but also it's a fun...
Maybe they're not supposed to hit. Maybe this is kayfabe.
Could be.
I
mean, it's evocative at least. Unrelated, I saw a clip of some old like wrestling, probably WWE thing last week, where guys were throwing footballs trying to hit each other, and nobody was hitting anybody. It was very comical, and I'm just like, maybe wrestlers are just bad at throwing and hitting things.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Maybe. And then our final face to come in is, of course, Timeless Toni Storm. She's wearing my favorite jumpsuit, which she wears to all hardcore events. And she is looking fully unhinged. She's carrying a grandma handbag, and she starts punching everyone with pearl necklaces. I love that Toni, on your typical night on TV, she looks really glamorous and lovely, and then every time there's a special event or a pay-per-view, she goes full psycho clown with her makeup. Somebody on Blue Sky had shared a photo of Jushin Thunder Liger that looked like it inspired Toni's look for Blood and Guts.
Lovely.
And I don't know enough about that, but I really enjoy looking at the side-by-side photos and thinking that she's paying tribute.
Yeah, for me, it's at least very theater and kind of Japanese theater. It makes me think of like old no theater stuff. Not that I know much at all, but just I love it.
Yeah, there are so many like different layers of throwing back and showing appreciation.
Yeah.
So at this point, we are locked in. The bell is rung. The match has started, and Toni is wrapping her fists with sticky side out tape and coating them in broken glass as you do.
Yeah, as you do.
And the fans in the crowd start up a "We want tables" chant.
Yeah, which is all, I always find that kind of annoying, but I at this point I just kind of assume they usually do it because they saw tables, and
Right, they were reminded tables existed,
yeah,
so now they want them.
Yeah. Which they didn't, so we never see really on screen the table get brought out and put in the ring, but there's eventually one, so it must have been there at the side coming out. And
yeah, they must have seen it and gotten excited, and we're just kind of like, oh, shut up. Like, don't demand things that, like, we already have so much going on. I'm thinking, what do I need a table for?
I think chants that are asking the performers to do something that they're not always doing is just kind of like a personal pet peeve thing. It rubs me the wrong way. Like, they're here, they're doing stuff. Relax.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Cheer what they are doing.
Yeah, yeah. So the table does eventually come out to the television audience, and Sky Blue gets sent through it, except not.
She gets sent onto it.
She gets dented onto it.
Yeah.
I think it dented both the table and Sky Blue.
Possibly, yeah.
And my note here just said, God, it always looks bad when the table doesn't really break. And then that turned out to be like the theme of the night.
It sure did.
I don't know where they got these ultra strong tables. I know they make a lot of furniture in that region of North Carolina, so maybe they had like extremely robust, locally crafted folding tables.
They just bought them from the wrong place and they were too strong.
They were so strong.
To be fair, Sky Blue is small and probably a little harder to break a table with her. But then later,
given what we saw later, it was clearly the tables that were the issue.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't even break when Jamie like fell on her, like threw herself onto her. Like, like broke more.
It like dented a little harder. You know? Yeah. It was rough. It looked rough for Sky there, but I'm glad she seems to be okay.
I was convinced for a little while that, oh no, she's gonna be out and they're gonna have to get her. I was being worked.
Well, she was under the table for a while, like trying to recover, and it was a little hairy there for a moment. So then my next note is that Harley then whips out Mini Monet on her hand, and Mercedes Monet rips it off her hand, only to reveal that Harley's got brass knuckles on.
That was a great reveal. Puppet hidden brass knuckles you don't see every day.
I love this evolution of Harley's gimmick.
Yes.
It's like, yes, I am silly and I will fuck you up.
Yeah.
And around this point, Tekla and Julia Hart managed to weasel their way out of the cage by slipping through the supports, like the gaps in the support beams.
Crafty tiny women.
Tiny women being
sneaky crafty.
Sneaky, yeah. And then they spear Mike Posey to get the key to the cage. We need the refs in AEW and the crew to have breakaway lanyards.
Oh yeah, that's a risk. It's an injury risk.
Let's be safe, people. And at this time, Monet's belt table is still set up, complete with the almost full glass of champagne. And I'm thinking, who's going to drink Chekhov's champers?
Right. And I have to say, I looking back, I'm like, oh, what a mark. I'm sitting there. It didn't even occur to me this whole time. That table's still set up. I'm just like.
Yeah. Nice table you got there.
Yeah.
And so then, of course, Chris, Stat, and Mercedes start to climb. And I think they're going to the top.
Right.
I'm thinking, oh, shit.
Right.
And then they only go part of the way up and wind up flying through the table. The champagne glass, like the bottom of the champagne glass, breaks off and kind of winds up lying near their necks.
It looks a little scary.
Yeah. So and around this time, Toni whips the shoe out of her purse.
The shoe!
Which we haven't seen. The shoe! Watch for the shoe! We haven't seen it as a weapon in
Not in a little while.
Quite a while. Yeah. So that was nice. And then we have the spot where Marina and Toni jointly break a mirror onto Toni's head. And I'm not sure which one of them is assigned the 7 years bad luck.
It's a good philosophy question.
Yeah, so we're getting, and at this point we're, this is a good long match. It was probably about 45 minutes, and
my notes started making less and less sense here. I have Mina got bloody, and I got apron on apron action, which I also don't
wrote
remember.
Apron on apron action. I think Willow and Megan Bayne were slamming each other on the part where the aprons were joined.
Right.
I was like, oh, that looks really uncomfortable. Right on the seam.
I heard it's the hardest part of the ring.
Yeah, and if it's 2 rings, it's
doubly
really
hard.
Extra hard. So then we get to this point near the end where Mina got a figure 4 lock on Megan Bayne with the barbed wire bat and was looking great. And then Marina and Megan turn it around, and Marina gets. Oh no! First, Megan gets Mina in a lock, and Marina stomps on the broken shards of mirror and then stomps on Mina's chest.
Yeah, just brutal looking stuff.
I feel like after that mixed tag match that Marina and Yuta had with Stat and Darby, she went home to the BDSM dojo and she did nothing but walk on broken glass, like to practice her fortitude.
Right. Right, absolutely.
Like, she went from like, no, don't put my bare foot in the glass, to like, I'm going to stomp in this glass.
Yeah, she was like the Dread Pirate Roberts with iocane powder. She was like, I'm going to turn this around.
I'm developing an immunity to broken glass. Yeah. So then Marina has Mina in the mother's milk lock, and Megan's wailing on her with one of the championship belts.
Yep.
While Toni is being held back by the Triangle of Madness like Midsummer.
Yeah, totally.
Toni's just wailing and just like in pain, and eventually surrenders for love.
Yep. I mean, I was just... I thought it was set up really well. I wrote in my notes in all caps, no, don't make Mina tap out in front of Toni.
Yeah.
And Toni rescued her from that.
That's right. I love love.
For love.
I love love.
Yep.
Defeat for love is beautiful. Marina was like, looked like a cat who caught a bird. Like Marina looked so pleased with herself.
She had such a big smile.
I love grinning evil Marina.
Yeah.
No notes, honestly. This event, I was on tenterhooks the entire time. It was so fun. They really knocked it out of the park, and I'm glad they opened the show with them because they set the tone, they set the standard.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely great.
Yeah, and before we get to the men's match, just there was a contrast, which at least for the women's match, I didn't really think about it much until later, but just the women's match being the first time and being in this place of like building up storylines, building relationships. There are all these people in the ring. There are, of course, existing storylines like Stat and Willow that get some development here in a way, and then there's other things that get begun here. This is a place of beginning as much as it is anything else, and the men's storyline is more one of endings or potential endings, or at least building on a lot of stuff that has a much longer history. Right.
There are no conclusions drawn from this match, which is exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
There's nothing yet to conclude, but they're building on, like you said, they're building on little beginnings, and they're creating other little sparks. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but I was a little surprised and pleasantly surprised to see how much they're tying in the tag team championship to the specific events of Blood and Guts. I wasn't sure how they would wind up interacting with each other. So I was pleasantly surprised by that, but we'll kind of get to that a little later, I think. And so following the women's Blood and Guts, we got a little promo of DCF. We're in the parking lot, and various members of the Don Callis family are beating up Jurassic Express outside a RV trailer.
You could have told me it was the back of a grocery store and I would have bought it.
Okay.
One of those back lot areas.
Yeah. And it turns out that this is all kind of by way of starting to threaten the Young Bucks.
Right.
To join the
Because
Don
we
Callis
find out
family.
they're in the trailer. They
the
emerge.
Bucks come out with Okada, and the vibe is like, we're gonna fuck you up too if you don't join.
Yeah. There's the heavy implication that they might get they're being threatened now. They're not being invited so much as being threatened.
Yeah, and Young Bucks storylines that's kind of where I personally, as a newer fan, diverge from a lot of other podcasts and fan takes and stuff, because I don't have strong opinions about what the Young Bucks should do. I'm just kind of enjoying the ride.
I'm here for the ride. I can see it going whatever different ways it can go. I know they're going to keep being in matches, and they're hella fun to watch, so
so we'll see where that goes. I'm looking forward to seeing how Kenny Omega's return next week interacts with all of this, and like if we're going to have an Elite reunion, or if they're going to keep teasing that for a while. Whatever. I'm just here for the ride. And then, so we have our little in-betweener match, which was Hangman versus Hobbs in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And my pre-show thought was like, how smart was it to make this a Falls Count Anywhere match? They could be like cleaning up the rings.
Absolutely.
Fuck it, we've got 2 rings set up. We're not going to tell them where to get the pin. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
it was very smart, very practical. And so yeah, they do wind up kind of brawling all over the arena.
Yeah.
It was a little bit stressful. I'm thinking, you know, Hanger comes out wearing an abdominal binder.
Mhm.
Presumably because his ribs got a little banged up in the previous match.
I guess so, yeah.
Hobbs looked amazing. My notes, I'm initially like, is he going to win to make Hangman look weak before Full Gear, you know, to kind of ratchet up the stakes
right.
For his title match against Samoa Joe. The turnbuckle pads come off immediately, and the announcer, I don't remember which one, asked, someone says, if we've ever wondered why the pads are there, and I'm thinking, no, I have never wondered why the pads are there.
I feel like one of the first shows that I saw, they were taking the pads off and showing, like, I don't know.
It's like, no, clearly they're there for a reason. Yeah, we get it. Yeah. And Tony Schiavone was kind of implicated a bit in this. Hobbs is repeatedly saying, this is your fault, you know, for like collaborating with Hangman.
He helped Hangman pull one over on Samoa Joe.
And poor Tony is like clearly having a dark night of the soul about this. They get up on the announcer table, and Hobbs almost gets his leg through the cable hole. And wasn't he an IT guy? He should know better.
Should know this. Yeah. I mean, up till this point, he's really giving Hangman a beating, and he's looking great doing it. You're just like, oh crap, this is serious.
Yeah, yeah. And then finally, around this time, Hanger like activates.
Yeah, finds his mojo.
He finds it. He fires himself up. They brawl through the crowd. Hanger takes a swig of somebody's beer, and he moonsaults off the seats, and he's fully cowboy-shitified.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and at the point at which he activates, he gets that crazy eyes.
Crazy
face.
eyes,
Yeah,
which is
just like, all right, he's focused now.
I love it. Hobbs finally. God, I was so stressed out watching Hobbs about to fall.
Yeah.
Getting a little watch for the shoe, a little watch for the shoe moment, honestly, as Hanger hits Hobbs with his boot.
Yeah.
And Hobbs falls through the magical exploding electrical table.
Magical exploding table with some sort of like equipment crate that falls on him, which could just be cardboard for all I know.
It clearly weighs half an ounce, but it looks scary.
It all looks scary. Yeah. And even though I've seen these sorts of spots before, when he was up there, I was just like, no, you're too big to take this.
Yeah, don't do it. You're not Darby Allin.
Yeah.
But no, Hobbs did amazing. He looked so good in this match.
It was great. Yeah.
I enjoyed the various like subliminal stories that were being told during this match.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Hanger wins, and Shibata runs out to fuck him up. And then of course Joe is there in the chair, in the ring, waiting with a chair in his hand, because of course he is.
Mm-hmm.
And he demands the cage be lowered. And for some reason, whoever's controlling the cage is like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
No problem.
Whatever Samoa Joe
Let's lower the cage. Will anyone run out to save Hangman? And it's Cousin Eddie. And they're all getting shut in the cage together in solidarity while the ops stand outside.
Yeah. And Hook.
Wait, is Hook? Oh, yeah, Hook's in the cage too at this point. But, you know, who cares about Hook? Just kidding. Am I? And then Hanger gets on the mic and delivers the perfect promo with the stip we've all been waiting for, saying to Joe, if you wanted a steel cage match, all you had to do was ask, you dumbass. So,
love a Hangman dumbass moment.
Oh, thank God. Right? Like, please be a face that calls people dumbass. It's delightful. So we are getting a steel cage match at Full Gear, which is good because we needed to make this title match more interesting, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And the funniest thing about this was that Joe immediately looks like he regrets everything.
Yeah, he's doing a good job being really concerned that, wait, not a steel cage match. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh shit. What did I do?
I fucked up.
Yeah. It's like, okay. But so we are looking forward to that one. Whereas I was not really looking forward to this match at all before. So
yeah. I mean, to side talk a little bit, I think I've seen people express that they find the sort of title scene kind of boring right now, and I think there could be some truth to that. You got to build up a lot of people that maybe are conceivable challenges to the title holder. Could also just have Hangman take a break. There's so much talent. Like, I'm interested in so many of the storylines, but like, you gotta have them at your PPV. Yeah. And however we got into this, now I'm like, okay, we've got 3 guys that are friends that all want to beat up Hangman, and Samoa Joe's doing it again, and now we got a cage match. That's fun.
And so then, following this, before the men's blood and guts, we have Tony Schiavone getting in the ring and praising the Greensboro Coliseum as like a cathedral of pro wrestling, introducing Ricky Steamboat. And I heard Ric Flair was there too, but I guess they kept him off camera, which is all good by me. But so Ricky Steamboat's there telling a little bit of a boring story that you know is going to get interrupted. And and here comes FTR being jackasses. And Stoke gets on the mic, God forbid, announcing FTR is going to make history as 3-time tag champs at Full Gear. FTR bring up how they were included in Ricky's retirement match, and they're generally just being extremely disrespectful. This is Dax on the mic, and Cash is just kind of giggling helplessly.
Yeah.
Which was, I get that.
They're fun. They can be fun. They were being fun.
I appreciate their particular brand of heelishness.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. And then FTR attack Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
The ultimate disrespect.
I probably could have taken a little more note of this, but the one thing I wrote down was they beat up old people.
They do. And you know who comes to defend old people who are being harassed and abused 2 weeks in a row? It's Brodito.
It's Brodito.
You'd think, my note here just says, you'd think folks would have learned to defend against the 21-plex, but everybody just needs a strategically timed lumbar stretch at just the right moment. And then Dax, after Bandito puts him away, Dax gets into it with the fans at ringside, and it's still fucking funny.
It's very funny.
It's very funny. He always picks a very, maybe not always, but he always picks, it feels like he always picks a good candidate in the crowd to start getting into it with.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the men's blood and guts. Our first pair, nobody is surprised to see Darby come out first.
No.
He is here till the end. And then Darby comes out and Wheeler Yuta is his opponent. I didn't realize, does Yuta not have his own Death Rider music?
I don't remember. I feel like maybe once on Ring of Honor, but maybe that was Marina's music. I don't know.
Maybe it was, because I too felt like I had heard Yuta have his own music, but maybe we were hearing Marina's.
Yeah. And given that everybody else does have music they come out to, it's very interesting. Very
interesting. And Darby comes out with his skateboard, which we later find out is adorned in thumbtacks. Yuta is fully unarmed.
I took note that I don't know. I think I wasn't sure who would come out first from the heel side, but when it was Yuta, I thought to myself, oh, of course Mox doesn't want to face Darby. His tail's between his legs. He just lost to Darby last time he was with him. And
yeah, putting out Yuta as the sacrificial
dog. You go out first.
Yeah.
And also I think pretty quickly people were shouting, as they always do every time Yuta's out, fuck you, Yuta. And I had the thought of, at the time I wrote down, oh, biggest tragedy in wrestling, Yuta getting traumatized by his Blackpool Combat Club friends, and then crowd shouting fuck you, Yuta, at him for over a year.
How sad. What has he done to deserve this?
What has he done?
We have never forgiven him for anything he's done. So Darby immediately drop kicks him from the steps as he's coming out, and then he gets this sweet coffin splash off the cage where Yuta and then Yuta manages to get a little blading in, and then he touches his forehead and then acts surprised that there's blood on his fingers, which really made me laugh.
It was funny.
Really made me laugh. And then the second face in was Orange Cassidy, which I was not really expecting him to come out so soon, but that, whatever you say about Orange Cassidy not wanting to work and not wanting to fight, here he is.
He's there.
He's there for his friends. And what was in that backpack, baby? It was chains. And he comes in and shows how ready he is for playing against type by breaking his own sunglasses and stabbing Yuta with them.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. The number of old matches of Orange Cassidy we've seen where somebody takes his glasses and breaks them, or that's such a heel. And here he is. I'm just going to break him myself and stab you with him.
That's right. So love that.
How far he's come.
Yeah. And they get Of course, Darby drops in on Yuta on his skateboard, his thumbtack skateboard. It's a disaster. And then Danny Garcia comes in. And for some reason, he's wearing a surgical face mask. Like, I don't know if PPE is creepy again.
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
it was
I
like
wasn't sure what that was
part of
about.
his look. And then it looks like they're going to chain Orange to the ropes with his own chain, which I figure they decided that would be too attractive and the audience wouldn't be able to focus on anything else. So instead they clothesline him. Then they try the same thing on Darby, but he splashes onto the chain. Orange starts getting his really brutal, vicious kicks in on Danny and Yuta, and then Danny and Yuta start giving them back. Danny giving OC the fake kicks with like the snottiest most mocking look on his face.
That was good.
Danny, you're doing such a good job being a little shit. And then the third face in is supposed to be Mark Briscoe. We hear Mark Briscoe's music.
Mm-hmm. But what's up?
But where is he?
Where is he?
And then the camera goes backstage and he's been attacked. So
reportedly by the Don Callis family.
Yeah, supposedly, right? So the Don Callis family has taken credit for this act of terrorism. So it looks like he's been like beaten in the ribs and the abdomen. And so Roddy takes it on himself to volunteer to run in. And then they have a very brief moment of having the advantage before Claudio, our beloved, comes in. We didn't get to see Claudio activate backstage like we normally do. He kind of just a
lot of these entrances are shorter than they normally would be, so it kind of makes sense. But I did miss it. I like his waking from deep freeze kind of
love moment. That. And I don't understand the Warhammer symbolism. I have been informed that there is Warhammer symbolism. I did note that he has now one white scroll on his jacket, whereas before he had like a black scroll.
Right.
So I'm still curious to see what this all means, if anything. He manages to get the giant swing on Darby while OC is like hanging around his shoulders. So it's like so a double giant swing. It's so stupid. It's very funny. And then he gets Darby in that overhead press and flings him because that's his favorite thing to do, and it's all of our favorite thing to watch. So
it was great. And Danny did something. He ends up chucking Darby into Claudio's uppercut, which was fun.
Yeah, and I think that's where it looked like Darby's nose got fucked up. Like Darby was lying on the canvas, and it looked like he might have broken his nose, but we haven't really heard anything. We did see something on social media where it looked like Darby was being seen in like an observation unit of a hospital. So perhaps that was related. Anyway, hope you're okay, Darby. If you need another rhinoplasty, I suppose that's your thing now.
Of all the injuries for Darby to get.
Right? He keeps getting smashed in the face. Roddy at this point is also bloody. It took quite a bit longer, I would say, for the men to get bloody than the women, and I think that's appropriate with the storytelling.
Yeah.
So our fourth face to come in is Kyle O'Reilly. And so Roddy and Kyle immediately start double teaming Claudio. Meanwhile, Orange gets like horribly wedged between the ring and the cage, and Danny is like clapping at him like an asshole. Yuta and Claudio are doing some sick moves, and the Death Riders are down a man at this point, but they are looking dominant.
Yeah.
It's looking dark out there, man.
It is.
And at some point, Orange gets out from between the ring and the cage, and then he finally gets gorilla press tossed by Claudio.
Yeah.
Not quite as dramatically as he's done to Darby, but it's like we've been teased.
It's been teased, yeah.
And so then our fourth heel in is Mox. And I was thinking Mox was going to come in last.
Right. I think at this point I was also expecting that, just based on the like the suggestion that he's reluctant.
Right.
That there's some of that going on.
But no, not reluctant. He comes running in with a fork. He's stabbing people with the fork. He forks Darby in the shoulder. Darby then gets tossed between the ring and the cage with his little legs sticking up like a cartoon.
Yeah, like the Wicked Witch under the house or something, yeah.
And at this point, I guess Mox realizes that none of the men have weapons. So he goes to get the women's weapons from the previous match.
Which were just left out there for some reason.
Right. And so then he finds like the shards of the mirror and starts mutilating Kyle with them.
Which from a production perspective, very economical.
Right. So now, yeah, exactly. We're efficient here. And then it's time for the fifth face to enter. What we get is Renee backstage confirming supposedly that Briscoe was attacked by the Don Callis family, and then the simple result of this would be that there would be a Death Riders advantage 5-on-4, because
Yeah,
that makes
because of
sense.
course, yeah.
Why wouldn't you just have the 5th Death Rider not come out?
Right.
Anyway, but
we
yes.
can't change it's like the train is on the tracks barreling down and we can't change anything.
Yeah, we're not going to adjust now. That would be too sensible. So we're all like, what? No,
it's not fair.
That's not right. And I'm thinking, what else is going to happen? Meanwhile, Mox is dragging Darby through broken glass because that's how love is, and that's what you do when you're in love with somebody. Kyle O'Reilly has lost a lot of blood, like a legitimately large amount of blood for wrestling.
He's looking bloody, yeah.
He was,
yeah.
I think he probably lost the most blood of anyone all
Probably,
night.
yeah.
And I was thinking, God, give this boy some Lorna Doones and a cranberry juice. He is donating. OC gets locked into a sharpshooter, chaos ensues, and Darby finally manages to monkey bar himself over to coffin drop onto everyone, which is the closest anyone gets to jumping off the top of the cage,
right.
thank God.
Right, yeah.
And so then we have our 5th heel in to get the advantage there, and it's the Bastard Pack with ton of swagger, 0 sense of urgency, much like Mercedes Moné entering the ring, just very chill, and I love that.
Yeah, he's in his element, and it kind of makes sense if your team's got the advantage now, and it seems like, oh, well, we're going to keep the advantage. Let's just get to business.
Right. So the door gets locked behind him, and somehow Yuta steals the key from whichever official is holding it, and I don't know how he gets the key into his tights.
I don't know.
It would not be my choice of location, but Yuta's got the key in his tights. And then, dun dun, Briscoe has checked himself against medical advice out of the infirmary, and he's come with the bolt cutters.
Yeah.
to get himself in. Thank you, Briscoe. You were delightful.
And a toolbox? I don't know.
Yeah, he came with a toolbox. I was thinking, did he steal that from the infirmary? But it was just tools.
Right.
The funniest part, and so, Danny gets laid out on a table.
Yeah.
While Briscoe is climbing to the top of the cage. And I'm thinking, oh God, do not jump off this cage onto this table. A, never do that.
Never do that.
And B, these tables are very sturdy. But the funniest part is that Danny has to hang out. He gets laid on the table and then he just has to stay there looking helpless for a while until the next thing develops.
It's a common theme, but it's always funny. Oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna hang out here now.
Yeah, and so when Briscoe gets to the top, Yuta's up there waiting for him.
Yes.
And then somehow Kyle and Briscoe do this alpine belay situation. They have a giant carabiner, and they drag a bunch of chairs to the top of the cage.
They learned it from Darby. He taught them about his climbing experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, he did a little Everest class.
Yeah, he was like, here, you guys do this during.
And for some reason, honor, I guess, Briscoe slides a chair over to Yuta so they can joust.
Jousting, yeah. Chair jousting on top of it was great.
And then fucking Gabe Kidd runs in because
what?
Yeah, I haven't seen that much of Gabe Kidd. I haven't watched a lot of New Japan. I know people like him, but he just comes in like a little goblin in these Death Riders storylines, and I'm just like, it's so unsettling. And so he comes in with the stun gun. OC gets his hands in his pockets. Haha! And you think his power is powering up. And then here comes Mox with the staple gun to staple his hands into his pockets. Dear God, of course, Orange, there's no problem wrestling like that with his hands stapled into his pockets.
I mean, it's through jeans, it's almost nothing, but it's psychologically very oh no!
Yeah. And then he gets this moment to dramatically rip his hands out of his pockets.
Yeah.
He's I don't think anything really happened to his hands, but yeah, it looked really fucked up. And then the next thing you know, Darby and Pac are on top of the face tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabe is setting up some tables and putting lighter fluid on them and lighting them on fire. And it's a good thing Darby knows how to stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
Or stop,
get dropped, and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo! That was wild and really made for some incredible photos.
Absolutely,
after the fact.
I mean, it was spectacular to see happen. It was I've seen clips of old Blood and Guts and War Games matches, and I know that like people climbing up to the top and jumping off makes for a big, you know, dramatic finish or dramatic moment. And it's fascinating to be like, you don't have to do that at all. There's all these amazing, like, you know, just fun things that happen without something that's so dangerous happening.
Right.
I guess this looked really dangerous.
It did look really dangerous, and he was legitimately on fire for a little bit.
Yeah.
It did not look fun.
Yeah.
Hope you're okay, bro. And so then we pan back to the ring, and Mox is trying to kill Kyle O'Reilly with a submission hold, and Kyle gives him the finger,
He's
which
got like
is
a chain around his face or something.
Yeah, he's got a submission hold with a chain around his neck.
Yeah.
Which classic Mox, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Kyle giving the righteous finger.
So good.
So good. And then they're setting up to do that horrible chair neck thing that they love to do. And Orange with his stapled hand pockets and Roddy team up to defend him. Yes,
go Roddy.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. We know Roddy's conglomerating. I'm sick of hearing people say that Roddy's going to defect, because this is a story about Roddy eventually conglomerating.
Yeah, Roddy and Kyle are just Bert and Ernie. But Bert doesn't leave Ernie.
Correct.
He's just a grumpy Gus.
Yeah, but he's doing it. He's there, and he's there with OC to defend Kyle.
Yep.
This is how they will team up. Briscoe puts Yuta through a very sturdy table. The Death Riders are all getting fucked up. Orange is trying to do the orange punch and keeps getting intercepted. Eventually prevails, and then Kyle gets Mox in an ankle lock. And then Mox starts doing his full body freak out like our beloved Sarah Dog getting her nails cut. And then that's not the end of it. Like, Mox gets a good counter, Kyle gets a good counter. There's all kinds of like suspenseful graps. Suspenseful graps. And then finally and very satisfyingly, Mox taps into broken glass again.
Yep. It's like broken glass is his kryptonite. He's just like, oh no, don't put my face near this glass.
And he even taps it like really gingerly. I don't want to tap on this.
And makes like a face before it and shaking his head like, oh no, I can't. It's I love it.
So, and everybody thinks, oh, okay, now the Death Riders are going to murder him, because everyone's like, this is going to be the end of the Death Riders. They're going to
there's been
Mox,
some expectations of that. Yeah.
And we don't see any of the fallout yet.
No.
And that's cool by me. You know, at this point, it's late at night. I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, the show just ends.
The show just ends. So that's Blood and Guts. Do you think it lived up to the hype?
Absolutely. And for being the first like actual live version of this of any kind that I've ever seen, I was really happy. It was great.
Yeah, and I think it would be hard to watch two Blood and Guts matches in the same night if they hadn't planned it so carefully to make the two matches so different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed for the women's side that they wind up kind of building on the storylines. There was a post-show promo with Toni Storm in the infirmary, like looming anxiously over Mina's like prone body.
Yeah.
And she's addressing specifically Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne. She's saying, You've really gone and done it, you know? Yeah. And then she goes, there are only two things we're good at, sex and violence, and either way, you're fucked. God bless you, Toni Storm.
She's a treasure.
So even if the storylines we're getting out of this might be a little silly, at least they're doing something.
Yeah. And I mean, most or all of the men's storylines are also silly. Like, I need that. That's my sustenance.
That's why we're doing this, right? Because it's fun and silly, and the world is a horrible, dark place, and we need some joy.
Yeah, and you could just dryly be like, oh, it's a tag team tournament. Now this team's going to tag against that team. But it's fun to have a little, I'm getting back at you for what you did to my lover, you know?
Right. Yeah, there wasn't like a specific hatred between these two teams. And also, like, Megan and Marina were not a tag team. So kind of building a little bit of resentment. Invested. Yeah, resentment and investment, right? I gotta say, this doesn't look good for anyone who was hoping for Tay to go far in this tournament. I didn't really have a strong opinion on that, because having only been watching for 6 months, like, I respect history. I know that Tay have been around basically since the beginning. They were the first tag team, etc. But I haven't seen enough of them lately for me to support them, the idea that they're going to win this championship. And I don't think that AEW is showing us that they're going to win this championship.
Yeah,
Yeah, at least
I'm
not in the
always
tournament.
ready to be surprised, and I could see a storyline where like they win it and then it's immediately taken off of them or something like that. But I agree, based on how this is playing out, I feel that less and less likely.
I think it's more likely that because like they had injuries, right? They haven't had story building recently.
Right.
So I think it's more likely that they're not going to win this tournament, and then they'll have like a reason to get all fired up that they
Right.
didn't win it first, and that's going to, like
Right.
let's keep these belts rotating.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. This isn't just about who's going to be the tag champions indefinitely. It's about just getting started and then having those belts cycle, like you said.
Absolutely. Yeah. I am, I think TK likes to kind of keep belts on people for a really long time from what little I've seen. And I think having some belts that are more active and more quickly rotated is a good thing.
Yeah, it's really weird because just to step back for a little bit on belt discourse, and I only have a tiny bit to say on this,
Discourse.
but belt discourse,
Yeah.
yes, let me put on my smoking jacket and get my pipe out.
Yeah.
No, but it's interesting because it seems to me, from a like money making audience draw perspective, you kind of want to have champions that people want to see, and when they have a belt and they're defending it, that's a draw.
Yeah.
But also the risk that they might lose it, and you want to develop other talent. So you kind of do want to. There's a
Yeah.
push pull between having someone that's an audience draw or whatever, that the belt's on them and they're the person, and then on the other hand, there's a need to have things.
You don't want it to get stale.
Yeah, you want both.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't think this looks great for Ty J in this tournament. Given that they're building up the Toni and Mina versus Megan and Marina story.
Yeah.
Speaking of storylines, I hope we're gonna get something more soon with Chris and Willow trying to figure their shit out and how they can reconcile with each other. There was a nice hint of that in the match, but I would like to see that. And I also want to see, unrelated to reconciliation, I also want to see a nice program between Chris and Megan where they get to beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. Because they looked amazing. Big women! They looked amazing. The men also had a post Blood and Guts video promo that wound up being shown during Collision, so we could talk about it then. And then there was also like a nice recording from inside the ring after the event where Orange Cassidy's kind of checking in with all his conglomeration mates, being like, "Did you tap out? I know I didn't tap out. How about you? Did you tap out?" And like basically the Death Riders are just crashing out on the sidelines.
Yeah. Tails between their legs.
Yeah, and the last thing I'd like to say about the Blood and Guts event is that it's always a great day to be by when you're an AEW fan, but this was a particularly extra great day to be by. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. It was great. Thanks, everybody. You were wonderful. So let's move on to Collision. Collision, it's always hard, I think, to follow up a huge event like we had on Wednesday. And I enjoyed Collision, but you have to agree that it was a weird card.
It was weird.
I don't mind weird cards.
Yeah.
But certainly, like, we open with the Death Riders being Daniel Garcia, Pac, and Yuta against Adam Priest, Tommy Billington, and Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
Which, like, okay.
I mean, we've seen them, I think, as a trio even once before, at least in the past couple of months. And we've seen, Priest and Billington a couple. But yeah. It's the whole, I do recall thinking leading up to it, like, sometimes Collision is just like this. It's a little random. And that was like, huh.
That's not a problem for me. I don't have a big problem with it, but it definitely felt like, the Death Riders just need to get out their aggression. They just need to fight somebody, anybody, please.
Yeah.
And what I wasn't expecting, so we begin with Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, sitting at the announce desk, and then you get this immediate pre-match violence, physical fisticuffs with Danny Garcia. Which ended with Daddy Magic being whisked off to the infirmary and Mox sitting in the announcer seat and putting the headset on.
Delight.
Oh my God, Mox was so fucking funny. This was, if this hadn't been part of the Collision, I probably would have enjoyed the whole episode a lot less.
He helped tie it together, certainly.
He really did. So
Well, and at this point, we still don't think he's going to be there the whole time. It's just like,
well,
oh, okay, he's
we'll
filling
get there.
it.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Mox, and the fact that he immediately brushes off the elephant in the room of having just tapped out in Blood and Guts, like,
Yeah.
and he starts talking about, you know, how Daddy Magic isn't successful because he's not harnessing the power of positivity or whatever. It was just like the funniest. I started fucking cackling.
It was really
with delight.
funny.
It was so funny. And then he goes on to say that people don't like Wheeler Yuta because he's like a beautiful newborn baby deer.
Sure.
It was so startling. He was startling and hilarious throughout. Like, please bring Mox on commentary more often. He's my favorite.
He has a gift for it. It's true.
He really does. So, not surprisingly, that this match it's a good solid match, but the Death Riders do prevail. And Pac cuts a little in-ring promo challenging Darby to a singles match at Full Gear. He starts out by saying he's taking great pride in his work, basically throwing him into a flaming table, and then states that, you know, having the match at Full Gear will be no skin off his ball sack.
Which I imagine is a native expression from his homeland. So
yeah, he's a philosopher poet, and we love you.
It was great.
So I am very eager to see this match.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just remembering Mox making an analogy of Danny Garcia as a pit bull that he owns.
Yeah, and saying that pit bulls are really good dogs.
Pit bulls are really good dogs. Yeah,
which they are.
Which they are, but I'm. The idea of him viewing Danny Garcia as sort of a pet is interesting.
Mox, this whole Death Riders thing is very confusing.
It's all. I mean, I'm loving every minute of it. I don't think any of the confusion is bad.
No,
but it is.
I'm not mad.
There's often a lot of like, which way are we going now? They're zigging, they're zagging.
Is it puppy play? What are we doing? I have no idea. And I love that. And I frankly don't want it to end.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny how that happens.
Yeah, it's weird. And so then we cut to a short promo by Toni and Mina suggesting that maybe they would have had their tournament quarterfinal match against Alex Windsor and Riho that night on Collision, except Mina's not cleared to compete. So then we do hear more from Toni later, but so basically that's just an explanation that they're not going to be on.
Yeah.
And then we have the only match that we really heard about at all ahead of time. We had Mark v. Mark. Mark Briscoe versus Mark Davis. And for some reason, Mox is still sitting at the announcer desk.
Right.
And I'm like, Mox, why are you still there?
Why are you still there?
And I'm so glad he was. I'm so glad he was. It really made the night. I gotta say, I have to admit, I wasn't fully locked in for this match. I'm fine with both of these competitors, but they don't necessarily grab me. And it also was like a foregone conclusion because they're getting ready for Full Gear. I don't think they're going to have Briscoe lose.
Right. I think part of it for me is that we from watching from when we started, we haven't really seen Mark Davis enough to be invested in him as a wrestling character.
This is true.
He's fun. I'm getting a little bit of his vibe as we're being introduced to him. But yeah, there was a little like, okay, here's a match.
Yeah, we're not fully into it yet.
And it might have been a lot more fun if the crowd was diving into Mark chants, which I kind of hoped they would.
They didn't do too much of that. There was like "This Mark sucks,"
yeah,
which
that was good.
fun.
That was
but
good.
You know, it's hard because you don't want the crowd to try taking over the event with their chants.
No, yeah, it's true.
It's a fine line, right? Because I think the first Kyle v. Kyle in Seattle was really fun and the chants were brilliant.
The vibes were right. But then sometimes like the crowd can be like, oh, that was a good thing, so let's do it every time.
That's like, okay, it's not as good following that. So yeah, we were all like not quite locked in. And then we have Scorpio Sky doing a little promo explaining why on earth he's challenging for the TNT Championship tonight, which I was like, okay. Explaining that, well, it's been 1,228 days since he last held the title.
Right.
So he's ready to come for it now. Okay.
Which for us, or at least for me, was the first time I knew that he had that title before.
Yep, same.
But that's, again,
all right, we're learning. We're learning. And then we have Josh Alexander cutting a promo backstage where he's like murdering a crew member, and that person is revealed at the end to be Michael Nakazawa. And the whole promo is basically directed at Kenny Omega. I do appreciate that he decides to use Kota Ibushi's horrible injury as like a heat generating opportunity, which, I respect that. And then MxM TV comes out for a casting call.
Hooray.
Which I didn't know they were doing, so I'm kind of delighted to see that.
Yeah.
And the best part of this is that Mox is still at the announce desk, having absolutely the correct take on MxM TV, like pointing out that what they have in common with the Death Riders is intensity.
They bring 100% every night. They're not half-assing it. Yep.
And then he looks at Taya Valkyrie and goes, "That's a lot of hat."
Yeah.
I will say, I do appreciate that at least this time Mansoor omitted the fat phobia when he was razzing the crowd.
Yeah.
Please never do that again, Mansoor. That really sucked. And so I hope you learned something, and that's why you didn't call everybody fat.
Yeah. It's too easy to do certain really just shitty like heel crowd work stuff. It's like
you don't have to be creative. Mansoor is still doing shitty, dumb crowd work. Like, you're all troglodytes or whatever, but like when you start saying like they're fat and ugly or whatever, it just gets really like, no, can we not do this? Let's not talk about people's bodies. Please. Let's keep it light. Let's be silly. So this match winds up being a singles match between Tay Melo and Taya Valkyrie, which was a nice surprise. I don't have a lot of notes about the match. Tay gets the pin, and then Marina Shafir comes out to attack her for some reason. I don't know why she's there or what she's doing. But it, like, as a preview of their upcoming tag team match.
Yeah. I did jot down how in the middle of that match, Tay does a spot where she jumps onto Mansoor and Johnny TV, which I in the hopes of there being more intergender wrestling, gender neutral wrestling, and every time something like this happens, I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah. So it was good. It was good. That was fun. So Marina's attacking Tay, and then Toni Storm runs out in her full, like, sexy Frank Gotch mode, which is my favorite Toni Storm look.
Yeah.
With those little kicky boots and everything. Anyway, she comes to take Marina out. Mox loves this.
Mm-hmm.
He's really enjoying this. He's saying about Toni Storm, like, this is wrestling with balls.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, Mox, have you ever considered trying to recruit Toni Storm to the Death Riders? And if not, why not?
Yeah, it seems like an obvious thing to at least try.
What have you been doing? She's an amazing wrestler, and you should be trying to recruit her to the Death Riders, and it would be extremely funny if you did try.
And after Tony gives Marina the Storm Zero, he croaks out, Marina Shafir has a neck like a Mustang. Which, okay. I mean, yeah, she's strong. We get it.
Like a Mustang. She's a bucking bronc.
Yeah.
Like, what? Anyway. And so then we have the TNT Championship match between Scorpio Sky and Kyle Fletcher. Kyle walks in, and as he walks in, he's like brushing off the crowd the way Deonna Purrazzo does. And I had recently seen a Blue Sky post suggesting Deonna join the Don Callis family, which I really like that. I know it's all boys. Like, I know the whole thing is like this weird male homoeroticism that's very, very male. But somehow I think Deonna could fit right in.
That would work for me, yep.
With her, like, harem of weird boys. I would love that. This was a strong match. Like, they went hard.
Yeah.
Definitely, like, Scorpio Sky looked good. He looked like a good challenger. He did a nice fake out at one point where he acted like he had an awkward landing and hurt his ankle. And then Kyle shows his little bit of kindness and hesitated. Like, And then Scorpio took advantage of that, which led to Kyle Fletcher getting mad and kicking Christopher Daniels in the face.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And of course Kyle wins to defend his title. Briscoe comes out to do a promo afterward. He's probably thinking, how close did he come to being compelled to join Skyflight? Because apparently the TNT belt is cursed with a transitive property.
Right, because of last week's Bang Bang fight. And Ace
so
Austin. Yeah.
Whoever holds the TNT belt, Briscoe will have to join their faction.
I do love that concept.
Kyle gave a little extra context in pointing out that he's going for a record-breaking 9th defense of the TNT belt at Full Gear, which to me underscores that the TNT belt is one of those kind of quick turnover
Right.
titles, which I
Right.
hadn't fully appreciated, I think.
Right. Which makes sense. I mean, if it's like you're trying to develop talent for the mid card so that you have people that appear to be worthy contenders, you cycle that around. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So yeah, I still don't really know I have no great prediction of what's going to happen at Full Gear. I do like I'm kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
I think there's a decent chance that Briscoe wins it for the like fan service of it all, I guess,
Right. Right.
but I also think it would be really funny to have a story angle where Briscoe has to join the Don Callis family, and I would like to see what that might look like.
Yeah, I almost think there's more value in that.
I
I kind of hope it happens at this point.
I basically agree. So I mean, I'm happy to sit back and watch and find out.
Who would be the mouthpiece for the conglomeration, though?
That's a really
Is
tough
that why they've had Orange talk more recently?
could
Maybe
be
I wonder.
could be taking some of that,
Yeah.
like, so they could transition from so Briscoe can never be their friend
I
again.
don't know. I mean, Kyle's good at it too. But anyway, we digress.
We digress. Have Willow talk more.
Oh yeah.
Also. So then we have little promos that announce and set forth this $200,000 tag match for the tailgate brawl before Full Gear. So first we have Anthony Bowens and Max Caster being the reluctant tag team again, which we talked about last episode. We love that. We love them. And then Juice Robinson is there. He's a man after my own heart. He announces that if he and Austin Gunn win, they will put their prize money in their tax-deferred 401k accounts. I assume these are solo 401k accounts and not provided by AEW, but TK, I hope you're considering providing a match.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I guess the $200,000 is the match.
I guess.
But they should probably consult the CPA.
Yeah,
to find out
they should.
to find out what's possible.
I don't know if he's the wisest. He's invested a lot of his money in extra shirts. So.
This is true. Sometimes you need extra shirts. And so then Big Bill and Brian Keith come in to announce that they're part of this match as well. And Big Bill suggests that they will invest in organized crime via his boys in Jersey.
Yeah.
Which to me seems like a poor investment choice.
Probably. He'd probably be better off buying more shoes. Isn't he the one with the Timbs or what?
Oh yeah. He's going to invest in Timbs.
Tim's going to invest in Timbs.
Yeah. Like a good Queen's boy. And then the Outrunners come in and they don't outline their specific fiscal plan, but I get the impression that they're just ready to party.
Yeah.
And that whatever happens with that money, they will burn it in an amusing fashion.
Right.
Yeah. That's definitely going to be fun. The tailgate brawl is shaping up. And then we get a match between Windsor and Riho against Hyan and Maya World. Love that.
Love to see them again.
Yeah, really fun match. We will talk about them again when we get to Ring of Honor, which that match came first. But love that Hyan and Maya really got in a good amount of offense. They got to kind of show off their stuff. They haven't, they're not as well established, but I think they have a lot of potential. And if this has been like an extended tryout for AEW and Ring of Honor, like I think it's gone really well for them.
Yeah, they looked great.
I do wish that the announcers hadn't spent so much time during this match discussing the general tag team tournament setup and like the bracket and ignoring the women in the ring. But I think at least some of that was on picture-in-picture during the commercial break, but it still annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah, I could go either way because, I mean, there is a tournament going on. This is a tag team match that's sort of promoting the tournament, but I would have liked to hear a little bit more about the...
Yeah, a little more play-by-play. Like, you need to know when to cut off that side conversation.
I did appreciate Mox stating that Marina's going to steal your car and the food off your plate.
Oh, yeah.
But...
Mox, so Mox is still there at this point.
Somebody, one of the others asked him how many times Marina made Danny Garcia cry, and I think he said, "I don't do numbers, but a lot," something like that, which I appreciated. But Marina wasn't in the ring,
right? Exactly. So, like, at some guys, rein it in, please. And also, like, we really need a woman on commentary.
Yeah,
partly
that
for
would
this
help
reason.
a lot.
Partly for this reason.
There were some great suplexes to finish out that match.
Yes, it was a really exciting sequence to get to the finish where Riho gets the pin on Maya. Really great match. If you don't watch Collision normally, or you weren't inclined to watch that particular match, I would really encourage you to do so. It was really fun. And following that, we get this lovely, another Toni and Mina promo saying respectfully to Windsor and Riho, you know, you're our platonic non-sexual friends, and this isn't personal, but we will be ripping off your heads and shitting in your handbags. Which, like, is a very normal promo for Toni. She always finds some way to surprise me with how she's going to end a sentence. I truly never know.
Yes.
And it's always makes me kind of startled bark with laughter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. And finally we get that post Blood and Guts promo from Kyle O'Reilly, which it had been released on social media before Collision aired, but then they showed it during Collision, and it's really directed at Mox, and Mox is still at the desk at this point. He seems pretty nonplussed by the promo, but then the crowd starts getting under his skin by chanting "You tapped out," you know, reminding him just how hard he tapped out and what a loser he is. And he finally gets on the mic at ringside and does a little angry promo before he storms out.
Yeah. I think during that he claims basically that Kyle won one match, and I'm like, he won 3. Like,
well, the one where they both had like a timeout.
Yeah,
I would not say Kyle won, but
when you're Jon Moxley and your whole shtick is what a hard ass you are, I'm sorry, you did not win that. So.
Yeah, it was Mox like really shoveled on the bullshit this episode, and I loved it.
Which again, I was delightful, joyous. I'm not mad.
No, not at all. But you know who is mad is Tay Melo. She comes in with a last promo being mad as hell at Marina, and I think also at Toni for like coming in to save her, which like, I don't know, the ego shit gets so silly. But I get it. She has to try to build some animosity with the people on her side of the tag team bracket. Right. I don't know where Anna Jay was, but
I think she's had some sort of issue recently. Either I heard either a family issue or maybe an actual injury, but
well, I hope she's all right. Yeah. And I guess we'll see her next time. And then for the main event, we had this unholy 8-man tag matchup where on the one side you had LFI represented by Sammy Guevara and Roosh and FTR. And then on the other side, we had Jet Speed, Bandito, and Juice Robinson, which I'm calling Jet Speed Pew Pew.
It's only right.
It's only right. Jet Speed Pew Pew. Sammy's mustache continues to be diabolical.
It's great.
No, it's horrible. At least it's growing in a little bit.
It's great in its diabolicalness. Yeah.
It's giving a little bit more Gomez Adams and a little bit less Snidely Whiplash. So yeah, we're going in a direction, I guess, but at least it's growing in a little bit. So Jet Speed Pew Pew is continuing this act of solidarity in saying fuck FTR. At one point, Bandito has like the 4 on the other side are circling him like sharks in the ring, and I'm thinking, oh no. And then Jet Speed come to help.
Yep.
Yay. Because of course they do. Jet Speed is always here to help.
And there's I don't remember exactly the details, but at one point in the match, I know Bayley and Bandito finally sort of have like a back and forth with, their opponents. They sort of had it was a good pairing. I could almost see them tagging at some point. It was good chemistry.
I would love that. There was a lot of good chemistry in this match in general.
Yeah.
One thing, oh god, Speedball did his like flippy knee drop onto the apron, and of course Dax had gotten out of the way, and it really looked like it hurt like hell. I hope they're okay.
I hope so. I know he's done that before, but there's always the first time that you actually just injure yourself, and it kind of looked like maybe
Speedball did look like they were like limping a bit after the match. And I never know what's a work and what's real, but I know that had to hurt.
Yeah.
So I hope there's no lasting injury there. I would be absolutely heartbroken. I need Speedball in my life all the time. So Bandito gets the pin. Juice smacks him on the ass in celebration, as you do. Like, who didn't want to do that? And effectively, like, we end this episode with just guns blazing everywhere. Pew, pew, pew. Guns are blazing all over the place. So weird collision, but I think kind of a nice way to follow up this very intense Dynamite.
Yeah. It strikes me you can't necessarily book far ahead or plan far ahead when you have these big event matches that might injure. You never know.
You never know.
Out with and the other thing is you get these weird pairings. That's also where some good stuff comes out sometimes. So you're sort of tilling the soil, the compost. You're seeing what's going to grow.
Yeah, I support this. I support doing weird stuff and seeing what sticks to the wall.
That's how we got Bandito or Brodito, right?
I guess so. I don't know, but it seems that way.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Ring of Honor. We don't need to get into too much detail here. It was although there were some pretty good matches. So we started out our Honor Club episode on Thursday with Dalton Castle and the Outrunners in action. The Outrunners once again being in their Marlboro pants. I tend to think the Newport pants are
much better. Yeah. But they seem to like those. I've been wearing the Marlboro a bunch when we see them lately.
And their opponents were Zach Mason, Warren Johnson, and Savage King. And I don't know any of them, I'm sorry to say, but the way the announcers were speculating over who Savage King might be under his gear made me think that it's got to be somebody we know, and I'm not sure who.
I don't know.
So yeah, come at us in the comments or whatever.
But it was some good fun.
Yeah, and so Dalton Castle got the pin, and so his like chill theme music kind of led into then the Spanish Announce Project chill vibes music to kick off the next match. So I enjoyed that little segue personally. So yeah, we had Spanish Announce Project versus Hechicero and Rocky Romero from the Don Callis family. I think my only real note about this match was that I enjoyed seeing Big H doing his little spell work toward Angelico, and then Angelico gets the little shoulder wiggle going in response.
Yeah.
Very funny. It does end with poor Serpentico tapping out. Serpentico's having a rough time, man.
Serpentico's having a rough time.
He's having a rough time. And then we move on to the QTV segment, which was surprisingly important this week.
Yeah, they did some promo of Boom and Doom versus Trent and Rocky Romero coming up, but that was less major than Harley.
Yeah.
That was less major than Harley getting a chance to do a full-on promo about her match coming up with Athena. She seems to be taking it serious.
She is for sure. So all I want to say about the RPG Vice and Boom and Doom situation, the match card picture of Trent is absolutely unhinged. It's fully like hood up, tits out, and then which I love. And then I just want to do a little critique of QT Marshall and Big Boom AJ's angle of like that being two intimidating Italian guys from Jersey is going to be effective when you're talking about an Italian guy from Long Island and a Cuban Puerto Rican guy. Like, I don't think, like, maybe we should be calling this the Bridge and Tunnel Brawl, because I don't think they're going to be impressed by two Italian guys from New Jersey, with all due respect. Oh yeah, so then Harley gets to cut a really nice promo about how she is going to win this upcoming Ring of Honor title match.
Yeah. She's taking it seriously. I'm taking it seriously. I still, kind of expect that she's not going to be the one to take the belt off Athena. But if it happened, I'd be down for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think...
And it was nice seeing Harley give a serious promo.
Yeah, I find it really hard to imagine that this will be how Athena loses the title, but and I'm not in the mood for Athena to lose the title right now, but we'll see. And so this promo leads right into Athena and Billie Starkz versus Hyan and Maya World, which was, obviously this is pre-taped, and so this is how we know why were Hyan and Maya World available to step in at the previous collision. Previous collision, right? For that squash match with Ty J. It's like, oh, they were already there because they were filming for Ring of Honor. Good for them. Good for them. Good for you too. The main point of this match is that Athena is distracted.
She is
shook. She is repeatedly, like, she's got Hyan in a lock, and she's repeatedly calling her Harley.
Yeah.
Harley's living in all of our heads.
She's talking to Harley while she's doing the match.
Yeah, it was just like, damn. And at some point she tags Billie by slapping her either in the face or on the tits. And
something like that.
It was like, not
Athena's distracted
cool.
and angry.
Athena's crashing out.
Yeah.
Hyan and Maya World, it's not a long match, but they did get some sweet moves off. They had a couple near pinfalls. Yeah, and that, I think, then continued to develop into the match that we had on this week's Collisions.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. I'm glad we got to see two good matches with them, sandwiching the squash match, basically. And get to see them in action. I hope we get to see more of them.
Yeah, and then so Maya winds up tapping out to Athena, and then Athena dramatically keeps holding on and just is like mugging viciously at the camera instead of letting go of her hold.
Athena's so fun.
She's so fun. She's such a champion. Like, no matter what belt she holds, she is a champion.
Absolutely.
And then we had the Swirl in action. Their opponents were Vin Parker and Will Allday. My pre-show thought This is like not that related to the match, but I only recently learned that Lee Johnson and Julia Hart are married, which is really cute. And I keep thinking, oh, but they're so young, you know? And then I realized, like, I'm Kenny Omega's age, and like Kenny, here I am thinking about the health of my colon and when will I get to retire? You know, like everyone, you know, these kids, these crazy kids.
These crazy kids.
And I also need to know why the swirl logo has like a giant cone and then the ice cream part is tiny.
Little tiny ice cream swirl, yeah.
Okay.
It's an interesting choice.
I did also notice this in this match. I noticed that I don't think anybody shook hands at the beginning of the match, the entire episode, which shocking. Everyone's behaving very dishonorably. This match was really fun. It was very high flying and athletic and gymnastic.
There were some sorts of spots that happened during it that had me going, Swirl versus Young Bucks when? Like when
Truly,
it was just
that would be a really appropriate
they're a tag
matchup.
team that I could see happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. They would be a wonderful matchup. And I'm happy to report in the disgusting little freak report that Blake did not lick any inanimate objects this week that I noticed. Okay, and so then we had Lance Archer versus Aaron Solo. This was like a nothing match for me, partly because Rocky Romero just like attacked Aaron Solo before he could even make an entrance.
Yeah.
And then he's like interfering in the match. It just felt like unnecessary to
me. Yeah, it kind of just added a little bit of heat to the heat the Don Callis family already has.
I mean, I guess that was the purpose of the match,
I guess
right?
Was the point. Yeah.
I do love like a classic little dude versus big dude match, but I just, you know, it's like, okay, so this was just generating some Don Callis heat.
Yeah,
I guess
there were a couple fun like Hurricane Rana DDT. There were a couple things, but basically Aaron Solo just took a beating, and he made it look good. Also,
he looked good. He looked good. It was just like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
And then we got MxM TV versus Skyflight, which I enjoyed this because it was an intergender 4-on-4 match.
Yeah, and Johnny TV came out with like the most ridiculous shoulder and neck gear, like
armor,
this metal like Mad Max armor stuff.
It looked like it was like this crazy armor. I don't know what the hell it's made of, but it looked like it was like silver metallic owl feathers.
Yeah.
And I think that's foreshadowing his imminent takeover of the Death Riders.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, Johnny TV is taking over. It's going to be a coup. We had STP and the infantry with their 6-man tag belts at ringside being a big nuisance, which I love.
This is a match where there was a little bit of a handshake, kind of. Darius Martin shook the tip.
Yeah, Darius is like respectfully waiting for the handshake, and Mansoor is disrespectfully offering him the tip.
Like they touch tips and the finger and just poking his finger out, and Darius took it.
I love that eventually Darius was like, fine, I'm gonna shake the tip. Yeah. Great. Layla Gray gets a Hurricane Rana off on Mansoor.
Was great.
Delight. More of that, more intergender, and I also want to see the boys getting to beat on the girls, because otherwise what are we doing?
Johnny TV tagged in to face off against Lila, and that I was like, yes, let's get going, but then she tagged out.
Yeah,
we can't have that.
For a moment you thought it was going to happen. Yeah. And I like that they're teasing. Let everybody hit each other. I do like that they're at least teasing it. It's not like perish the thought.
Right.
It's more like have the thought. We're not going to do it right now, but maybe we will next time. Skyflight wins, yay! And then STP comes in to wreak some chaos, like the gremlins they are.
Yep.
Leading up to our main event for Ring of Honor, which was Lee Moriarty versus Willie Mack in a pure championship proving ground match.
Hell yeah!
Kind of in the beginning, you could see on Lee's face that it's kind of hard being a face in STP.
Yeah, there was a little bit of tension there. Because STP had come out to beat down Skyflight, and like MxM TV was not going to help Skyflight.
No, of course not.
You know, so nobody's helping, and Lee Moriarty's coming out and like
he's kind of giving them a side eye, like, is this what we're doing?
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to be a face if you're in a group of like STP is tweeny at best.
Yes,
you know,
and I love them,
but they're tweeny at best. So they can act pretty heely. Willie Mack nearly snuffed out Lee's life with that cannonball.
Yeah, my goodness, He can like really drop his full weight on someone. It's good.
For such a big man, he can really throw it around.
Yeah.
It's always fun to watch him.
Yeah. In addition to cannonballing on Lee, he had a nice moment where he was in the ring basically twerking at Lee.
Oh yeah, lovely.
Which while he was out of the ring, just throwing his charisma around basically.
So much.
But I didn't really expect Lee is going to be defending his pure title at Final Battle.
Mm-hmm.
We expect. So I did not expect Willie to win. But, you get to 5 minutes in what's a 10-minute match and you've already taken 2 rope breaks. It's not looking too good.
Yeah, and then he wound up looking quite good nonetheless. But Willie, sadly, he did tap out. And then Commander comes out, presumably to foreshadow that pure championship match.
Yeah, which I am very much looking forward to.
So pumped. After like what we've seen so far of Ring of Honor pay-per-views, like the Ring of Honor special events go so hard.
They go hard. Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to Final Battle. So that finished up Ring of Honor and AEW for the week. We did get to watch a couple other neat things in the wrestling world. I wanted to continue a little bit on the theme of the power of love. We only got to watch a little clip from the DDT Pro match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Chris Brooks from November 3rd, but really enjoyed the little clip we saw where like Zack had Chris in a pin and the ref was like unable to could not execute the final pin, the final pinfall.
Yeah, he did like 1-2 and then his hand was just hovering in the air. He couldn't move it.
He couldn't do it. And then the audience is treated to this video montage showing in extremely cheesy fashion the ref and Chris Brooks like falling in love.
Yeah, like just out in like the park having a grand time, best new friends, best new lovers, not sure.
So cute.
Yeah, very
so
cute.
Ridiculous. And you could see like Zack is getting super pissed.
Yeah.
Like, I personally know very little about the history of pro wrestling in Japan. I know a little bit, but like it's clear to me watching something like this that they received the assignment, they understood the assignment, and then they take it even further as an art form.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very, very fun.
Primed for the theater of it and enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah, and also in like not wrestling, but honestly not very far off from wrestling, Dropout TV released the recording of the live Dimension 20 D&D event that was filmed back in June called Rumble in the Chungle.
Yeah, filmed at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, the Hollywood Bowl. So all I really need to say about that is that along with Toni Storm's promo on Collision, this week we really heard a lot of threats that people would be shitting in various receptacles. It was like a lot of shit talk.
Yeah, strong theme in that particular Dimension 20 event. Yes.
But very, very fun if you're into D&D or frankly if you're into like this type of storytelling.
Yeah.
I would not recommend that you start with that because you need context, but consider Dimension 20. You'll probably like it. And then for indie stuff, we did watch the House of Glory SuperClash that SuperClashed with Collision on Saturday night, but we had to watch it afterward. And they were coming in from damn near my ancestral homeland in Brentwood, New York. What I appreciate about that is that Brentwood is one of few areas on Long Island that is not heavily segregated. Long Island has like a really strong history of like racial and economic segregation, and Brentwood is like most people on Long Island consider Brentwood to be like a ghetto area. That's what they would call it, but frankly it's just a working class area that is still actually diverse.
Right.
And the crowd at the event, I know they weren't all from Brentwood, I know they traveled from all kinds of places, but the crowd reflected that diversity too, which I really enjoyed.
Right. And similarly, like certainly many of the wrestlers were traveling from elsewhere, but they were also pretty diverse. It was
House of Glory has a lot of wrestlers from Long Island too, and they like train a lot of people. So it was just cool to see like unity through indie wrestling. You know, we were mostly watching for the women's matches, so that's what I want to talk about.
Yep.
But we kicked it off with Maki Itoh and Shayna Baszler, which I don't know. I mean, I've seen like clips of both of them in the past. I don't know a ton about them as wrestlers, but I did enjoy Shayna kind of like looking baffled at Maki Itoh and how she presents herself and how she fights.
Yeah.
Reminded me a little bit of like Orange Cassidy vibes, like that kind of disconcerting
Yeah.
who are you and what are you doing
Right.
kind of vibe that the opponents tend to get.
Yeah, yeah. A little bit of how do I work with this? I just want to beat, give you a beat down, but this
but
doesn't compute.
you're confusing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was really fun. We are we'll get to it later, but hopefully we'll be seeing Maki Itoh soon in action as well. But anyway, in this event, the next women's match we had was the tag team match. We had Allie Katch and Priscilla Kelly versus Shotzi Blackheart and Scarlett Bordeaux. So that was interesting. Like, I've seen a fair amount of Priscilla Kelly and Shotzi Blackheart and Allie Katch a little bit. I haven't seen that much of Scarlett because I haven't watched WWE. Like, I know that Scarlett and Karrion Kross or Killer Kross like were released from WWE together, and they're kind of like shopping themselves around.
Right.
But I haven't really seen them in action. What I will say about this tag team match is that all the women have really refined the art of like beating each other with their butts, which is a very efficient use of the largest muscles in the body. No criticism.
I will say it was kind of a butt and crotch heavy match, but
really
there were some really good spots too.
It was, but not in a like gross.
Oh no.
Not in like a bra and panties match like gross way.
No.
There was a moment where like Scarlett, I don't know, like was it Priscilla was in this terrible hold that like had her crotch
like
stretched open kind of, and Scarlett was like, am I gonna punt it with my foot? And then decided to instead punt it with her face.
Yeah.
And then do a little like pussy licking gesture, which like, okay. Sure. And eventually Shotzi gets the pin on Priscilla. And from what I've seen, just watching indie wrestling over the past few months, Shotzi and Priscilla work so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I see them everywhere. They are really working the indie circuit. I'm happy to watch all of these women kicking ass out there.
Yeah.
And, I trust that their hard work will pay off wherever it is they want to go.
Yeah. I when I see them, it leaves me wanting to see them again.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And not just because of like funny gimmick stuff, but like just fucking good wrestling.
Yep. And then the main event that everyone was excited for at this event was Mercedes Moné versus Noor Phoenix Diana for the APAC title, APAC, which is the championship title for a Malaysian wrestling promotion that I had not heard of. As if Mercedes hasn't been covering enough of the world defending all her championships.
Correct.
Now, like, if Mercedes wasn't belt collecting all over the world, would Noor Phoenix Diana be main eventing in an arena in Brentwood, New York?
It's a good question.
I mean, I'm not sure that's the pinnacle of wrestling ambition, but like, it's just wild to think about.
Yeah, there's some fuel there that's driving some collaboration and cross promotion, and it's a good thing.
And I love she was announced as being the world's first hijabi pro wrestler, and I love that the crowd cheered.
Yeah,
it just made me feel really good.
Yeah.
There's still good things in the world. And Mercedes, of course, has her whole local crew of belt boys. And she, too, is covering her hair, but it's sort of in the preferred New York Catholic fashion of having a black baseball cap with a veil attached to the neck.
It was fun.
I'm fully kidding. Don't be offended. So this is a really interesting match. The match itself was a little over 18 minutes, which was quite a bit longer than the men's championship match that preceded it.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously not really on the same level as wrestlers, which you wouldn't expect them to be. But Noor got some really good moves in. At one point, she's getting some great moves in, and Mercedes is like calling for a timeout.
Yeah. Makes her look really good. Makes her look like a heel.
It's very funny, and it's evidence about like how great she tries to make all her opponents look. Yeah,
she's so good. And Noor was really good. She's very young.
She's very young and very tiny.
Yeah.
And but she did great. She did great. We expected Monet to take the belt, of course, but the crowd was super into it. They were cheering for both wrestlers. Like, it was a really feel good match.
Yeah.
The size difference, like, Mercedes is not a big woman, but she was much larger than Phoenix, and it got us kind of talking about like what is the nature of realism in wrestling. Because
I feel like one of the few things I hear about why someone might not want intergender wrestling is like that old canard about like, well, the differences between men and women, and it's like, well, there's a lot of differences between women and there's a lot of differences between men, so what are you talking about?
Exactly. And like, sometimes I see people saying they want weight classes in pro wrestling. I have a lot more fun without them, and I very much don't want them. And if you already don't have weight classes, then what is the difference?
Right.
Like,
if you're gonna
just
ask,
have men and women fight each other,
Yeah.
have people of different sizes and shapes and styles fight each other. It's wonderful.
if you were gonna have Powerhouse Hobbs versus Mike Bailey, I would buy it and we'd just have fun. So if
Yeah.
you were gonna have Powerhouse Hobbs versus Sky Blue, what would be the problem?
I mean, wow, now I really want to see that.
Yeah,
match.
right?
Anyway, sorry not to detract from this particular event. It was really fun. It was such a unusual event on so many levels, and I really enjoyed it. And I love what Mercedes is doing.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
And yeah, also, yeah, we focused on the women here, but in the various men's matches, we did see Killer Cross. We saw Amazing Red. And they had advertised that Andrade was going to be there in his House of Glory debut.
Right.
But I guess something with this ugly ass non-compete
Yeah.
reared its head, because I mean, I assume that's why he was not there. But yeah, it was nice to actually like enjoy some more indie wrestling this week. Last week we really didn't have the opportunity. So that's what we watched. We have a lot to look forward to this coming week. It's going to be kind of a crazy week. We have the go home show, like a 3-hour Dynamite collision situation on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
This has become normal before pay-per-views because I guess with their TV deal, they use an hour of collision to turn into the tailgate brawl.
Yeah, basically since September, I guess, the last couple of pay-per-views.
They've been doing this, and I get why they do it. It makes sense for the TV deal. I'm not complaining. It's like a lot of wrestling. It's great, but I'm also really tired. Like, this is long. It's late for East Coast people. It's a late night. So I'm looking forward to being very tired this week. So far, the matches we know about for the Go Home show are Red Velvet and Mercedes Moné for the, they're going to unify the permanent and interim Ring of Honor TV championship, which is very exciting. I had just been saying, like, I thought Red Velvet was cleared now, so when are we doing this?
Right.
And apparently,
here we go.
Here we are. It's now. The time is now. And then we have Hangman versus Shibata.
That'll be good.
It's just like a Full Gear build match, but it's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be fun. It's going to hit hard. I'm ready.
I'm looking forward to seeing a little more of Shibata doing some heel work. Kind of, he's done a little bit. Show me some more. Yep.
Yeah.
Ready.
Don't kick Hangman in the nuts. I don't know. Are you gonna? Maybe. Anyway. And then they've announced that for the women's tag team tournament, we are doing Toni and Mina versus Alex Windsor and Riho, and we're doing Ty J versus Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir. I'm guessing this means we won't get the tag team final during Full Gear, because like they still have to have the semifinal.
Right. And you could hypothetically do a thing where you do the semifinal in the tailgate brawl, and then like just whoever wins that is in the, but that means the same people have to fight twice. That's true. It'd be weird.
I don't support that idea, but
yeah,
it does feel like a missed opportunity to not have the championship be awarded during Full Gear. But then I think about like when Orange Cassidy came back, they saved it for the Dynamite following the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Which I was really frustrated about at the time. I was kind of crashing out about it. But maybe they're doing something similar where it's like, let's give people a reason to like want to tune in to Dynamite.
Yeah.
So they're not all just exhausted from the pay-per-view.
Yeah. And I can see it also like, my first thought is like, oh, it's a big deal, so you want to do it at pay-per-view, but it's kind of more of a defense as a big pay-per-view thing, but establishing the first one. Either way, for me.
I don't know. And then we have Kenny Omega returns.
Kenny Omega.
I assume this is going to be for a promo and not like a match.
You never know.
I don't know.
Someone
I'm ready.
might come and kick his butt, and then they start fighting.
as always seems to happen in the like 6 months since we've been watching. If Kenny Omega comes on screen, someone's going to come and try to kill him.
Yeah.
So hopefully they don't kill him.
Hopefully they don't. He's supposed to be in the match at Full Gear.
Yes, please. So that's what we know about the Wednesday night situation. And then for HonorClub on Thursday, what we know is the women's championship match between Athena and Harley, which we already talked about how excited we are about that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm not sure if it was recorded already with Collision on Saturday or if it's going to be recorded on Wednesday.
Does somebody know that? Somebody knows the results already.
Maybe somebody, if so, I haven't been spoiled.
No.
I really hope that people have some respect and don't spoil it.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. And then we have Full Gear Weekend coming up, which, as we said in our first episode last week, that's going to be our first in-person live AEW pay-per-view. I already feel totally overstimulated.
Yeah. That's gonna be a tough weekend.
It's gonna be tough. I generally, like, in terms of the matches, I generally feel ready for whatever's gonna happen. I have trouble imagining that any of the world title belts are gonna change hands.
Agreed.
They're definitely teasing, like, well, maybe FTR beats Brodito, but
They better not.
I would be absolutely heartbroken. I'm not gonna threaten to do anything to the stadium again this time, but I did. Personally, I have a hard like, given the like build that they've been doing the past couple weeks, I kind of have a hard time imagining that
Yeah.
FTR is going to take it
Yeah.
at this moment in time, but anything can happen, you know? I'm very much looking forward to the tailgate brawl matches and also Pac versus Darby.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time, like, matches that don't have a title at stake are more fun.
They can be, yeah.
Like, you're kind of relaxed,
Yeah.
relatively speaking.
And I think part of the reason it can be that the reason we're having the match developed more organically than we have to have a title match. Let's gin up why these guys are.
And that speaks to why I'm not super excited about Joe and Hangman.
Right.
Like, it just feels.
It's gotten
stiff.
better.
It has. They're easing me into it, but I haven't been fully geared up for it, if you will. And I think the Casino Gauntlet should be fun and exciting, and I have like no prediction. I hope somebody cool and interesting wins the first title. Whether it's like, I guess, like, my top people in my mind would be like Mascara Dorada or Mystico or like Ricochet or Speedball.
Right.
Somebody who's like been really killing it and like kind of not really made it into the title conversation.
Yeah. It's an opportunity to lift someone up a little bit.
Exactly. I don't know a ton about DC Comics. I know they're doing this whole tie-in with DC Comics. So if the wrestlers wind up making like comic book references with their gear or something, it's probably going to go over my head. And that's fine, So that's going to be us on Saturday. And then on Sunday, rather than taking time to relax, we are going to continue the craziness, and we're going to go to JCW, Home for the Holidays, which is going to be our first indie event.
Yeah.
And our first visit to the Mecca in Ridgefield Park.
And we're front row, I think.
Yeah. Well, I said, I was looking at the tickets, and it's really very, like, once you've paid the price to get in the first place, it's very little extra to be at ringside. And I went through a whole thing being like, we don't deserve to be at ringside. Like, we don't know
it's our first
everybody.
time. We don't deserve.
And then it's like, you know what? You dumbass. Just get the ringside tickets. You're going to have fun. And the first match they announced back when they announced the show was Queen Aminata versus Maki Itoh. And I hope that Queen Aminata will be able to participate. But either way, like, it's gonna be a fun event no matter what. It's
gonna be a fun night. I do hope so.
And then the main event is going to be Billie Starkz defending the JCW title off, which she had taken off Charles Mason, and he's challenging her for
to get it back. Yeah.
So we just saw Charles Mason also defend that House of Glory championship. So I'm curious. Like, I know there's going to be shenanigans.
Yeah, he's a weird little rat man. I'm ready to see more of him.
I wrote it's going to be like a battle of two hot possums.
Yes.
They definitely are both like little rat people.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. So yeah, we're going to be totally shot. Please, if you are listening, don't be surprised if our next episode doesn't come out on schedule, or if it's otherwise, like, I'm not going to be having notes. So if it's going to be mostly exuberant feelings and no details, it's going to be a different vibe. We won't have had the chance to rewatch anything from Full Gear. I'll probably have no voice.
Right.
But it'll be different.
Much like a new wrestler you haven't seen much before, this is all still new to us anyway. So what do you know about what's normal?
Truly. All right. So I think that ties up our chatting about wrestling for the week.
What's the bean of the week, Kat?
What's the bean of the week? I don't know yet.
All right.
To be fair, we wound up having two beans of the week last week, because in addition to that black bean soup that I made, which was delicious, those black beans were lovely, I made also a white bean soup with beans that Rancho Gordo calls Marcella beans, after the renowned chef and cookbook author Marcella Hazan. They are known as Sorana beans in Italy, but they grow them in California, so they give them a different name. But they're basically like a big white, like a cannellini type bean with a very thin skin. So they're very delicate to cook, but they're very delicious. And so I made a soup with like Italian sausage and fennel. And so we have some soup stocked up in our freezer.
freezer.
We also just got a new box from Rancho Gordo that I haven't had a chance to open yet. So, Bean of the Week TBD. Thank you, as always.
Yes, thank you for listening if you've listened to our nonsense this far along.
We really appreciate you. We are now on social media. Please find us and tell us what you think at chattermachine.bsky.social on Blue Sky or at chattermachine on Instagram. We are also sharing these episodes on YouTube if that's where you prefer to get your podcasts, or just any podcasting platform pretty much at this point. We are available.
Correct.
Our theme tune is by Sasha Enda. Thank you so much, Sasha, for sharing your work with us with a Creative Commons license. All the details about that are in our show notes.
Well, this has been fun.
It's been fun.
Aw, we did it.
We did it. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.